Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Again, my name is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey together in the quest of being the best versions of ourselves that we can absolutely possibly be. I'm excited today, everybody, but I must say, it almost got me this week. Today's topic, yes, it almost got me, and it's something that we struggle with from time to time, but you know, I did find myself fighting through it naturally, but I did have to take a step back and say to myself, hold on, I'm not feeling as confident as I should. I'm going to fight through this. So, again, everybody, I caught myself, but I also did find myself naturally fighting this thing off before I could recognize it. And we're going to break this thing down because I found it pretty intriguing as to why I responded the way that I did. So I did some research as to how that happened, some things I may have trained myself over the course of the last handful of months or years, and again, just being self-aware of when we find ourselves just not feeling confident. You know, we just don't feel good enough. We just don't feel like we've got it in us, right? So I wanted to get an explanation of what self-confidence is, a little bit different than a definition. So I found this out there, and I love the wording, and I'll share it with you. It says self-confidence is an attitude about your skills and abilities. It means you accept and trust yourself and have a sense of control in your life. You know your strengths and your weaknesses well and have a positive view of yourself. You set realistic expectations and goals, communicate assertively, and can handle criticism. And again, everyone, I think sometimes we find ourselves at different parts of that explanation. You know, some days are better than others as far as our feelings of ourself and our abilities. So what are the benefits of having self-confidence? Well, let's look at a couple of them. Number one, we just perform better if we have a high level of self-confidence. We spend a lot of time, or potentially spend a lot of time, worrying if we're good enough, or worrying that our execution isn't going to produce the results that we want. And so all that time that we are focused on worrying, we could actually focus on better execution. Right, everybody? So again, when confidence goes up, we're going to focus on the execution, and we're going to find out spending less time worrying and more on a higher level of execution, we're just going to perform better. Number two, healthy relationships. We've talked about this, especially recently, and it's amazing to me how, again, things just keep popping up in front of me and how all of this is intertwined. But yet again, as I was doing research on some of the benefits, healthy relationships popped up there. So by better understanding ourselves, we will get to know other people better. And also, are there people working for us and with us, or are they working against us? Number three is an openness to try new things. Boy, what a benefit that is, everyone. The more confident we are, the more willing we are to throw ourselves in that uncomfortable zone that we've oftentimes talked about. When we believe in ourselves, we're willing to try new things, and there is less fear of failure. Again, because we're open to try it. We know that if we fall flat on our face, we're going to pick ourselves back up, learn from it, and do it maybe a little bit differently, and perhaps, again, execute better. But we're not going to be timid, everyone, and that's how we're going to grow. We've talked about it many, many, many times. Another one is our ability to be more resilient. It's our ability to bounce back from any situation. And when we make mistakes, we learn from them and we saddle back up, my friends, right? Again, the more confident we are, the thicker skin we're going to have, or the less fear we're going to have. And I guess at the end of the day, it's really the epitome of having a growth mindset. We're going to bounce back. So everyone, those are just a few benefits, once again, not limited to. But how can we accomplish self-confidence? Maybe when we're in a situation where we feel that we're down on ourselves, what are some things that we can do to help us achieve some of these benefits that we just talked about? Well, to start out, here's one that's extremely important, my friends, okay? And we get sucked into this quite a bit. And that is to stop comparing ourselves to other people. You know, social media has a way of really wreaking havoc with this because, you know, social media is out there to see the best of people, right? We don't necessarily see some of the struggles that truly people are going through. And we look at everybody's lives and we compare ours to theirs, and theirs is so wonderful, right? But comparing us to somebody else is not healthy. It actually could create envy. And some studies have shown a direct link between envy and how we feel about ourselves. So I think the goal is here, when you feel this coming on, quickly remind yourselves of your own successes and your own abilities, right? And this is actually one when I was reading some articles that I actually find myself doing somewhat naturally, is that when it's natural to compare ourselves to somebody, I just think to myself of all the things that I've achieved and my abilities and things that I've really worked hard on, again, to be the best version of myself, right? And somebody else's best version may not be in my deck of cards, right? Or at least not yet. Another one that we've talked multiple times is just simply surrounding ourselves with good people. Again, do your friends lift you up or bring you down? Are they constantly judging you, or are they going to try to bring you up and support you? If you feel bad about yourself after spending time with people, then it just might be time to say goodbye to those. Again, comes up many times, but surrounding ourselves with good people will ultimately help us achieve the highest level of self-confidence. Another one, taking care of our body. You know, that whole cliche saying, if you look good, you feel good, right? And again, not to belabor this too much, but obviously it's hard to feel good about yourself if we're abusing our bodies, right? I think I shared with it maybe early on in the year. You know, a couple of years ago, I was just feeling like sluggish and I was demotivated. I was in a slump. And then I just finally made a decision to get things back in order. And it started with the physical, right? Getting back into a workout routine. And ultimately you find that you start to feel really good about yourself and you start to feel like you can conquer the world. So I challenge everybody out there, right? Look at your morning routine and what can you do to better yourself? What can you do to become a little bit more healthy, to look good, to ultimately make yourself feel good? Here's a new one, and I was really impressed by this. And it is simply to be kind to yourself. Boy, that is something that I know I can personally work on, and I'm going to. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with kindness when you make a mistake, fail, or experience a setback. And when I was reading, there was this study done in 2009 published in the Journal of Personality that found that self-compassion contributes to more consistent confidence. So next time you experience a setback, remind yourself that being imperfect and failing is part of life. Do your best to navigate this concept, right, with self-compassion. Boy, I'll tell you, that really hit me, is just sometimes we're kind to other people, and we're there to support other people, but are we there for ourselves? Are we there to pick ourselves back up? Are we there to remind ourselves that life is not perfect and we are going to make mistakes? Because how we treat ourselves in that process will ultimately lead to what we think about ourselves. So, leading to the next one, speaking positivity, not just thinking it. Kind of dabbled with this last week. Speaking optimism can help manufacture self-confidence and overcome self-doubt. This happened to me actually last week. I was sitting with a sales representative, and he reached out to me wanting some help on making outbound prospecting phone calls. And I think I shared with you that's kind of what I focus on. And he starts out our session, if you will, by sitting down, and the first thing out of his mouth, he says, "All right, I got to tell you, I suck at this." And I stopped right there. I said, "Well, listen," I said, "if that's the way that you're going to speak and feel right now, then I can't help you. Everything that I've got to share with you is going to be no good. Because clearly, if you're speaking it right now, then you're definitely thinking it. And at that point, I'm not going to be able to be any good to you, my friend, until we start speaking differently. Now, you might think it, but it's the ultimate sacrifice when you start speaking it. Then you're done." And so we started there first, and we started to kind of backpedal and backtrack our way back to positive thinking, which is ultimately going to be positive speaking. You know, in that same exercise, I oftentimes work with sales reps that when they're making the phone call to this potential prospect, because it's a nerve-wracking thing, I get it. Rejection is tough to take, and hearing the word no, and you know, they're wishing almost verbally to get the voicemail. Okay, come on, voicemail. Okay, come on, voicemail. Well, they want the voicemail because a no-return phone call is an easier rejection to take than to hear somebody tell you no over the phone, or maybe possibly throw you some curveballs and objections that you're not ready for. So I'm at a point now where when I'm hearing the phone ringing and I'm the one making the call, I'm wishing verbally for them to actually pick up, because I want to put myself in that right frame of mind, knowing that if they pick up the phone, I've got a lot of good I can offer people in ways that I can present situations that might benefit them, right? So I actually want to speak with them. And it's all about changing that, right? Changing your mindset. So speaking positivity will help in your quest of self-confidence. And lastly, my friends, it's just simply, I'll take the words from Nike, it's just to do it. Sometimes the best behavior is just to do the behavior. The only way to gain confidence, truly speaking, okay, is by trial and error. And you just have to do it. You know, it's great to formulate a plan, to lay out a plan and a strategy, but if you never do it, how are you going to gain the experience and thus the confidence to do so, right? Over time, the confidence comes by doing that activity habitually and executing it to the highest level of efficiency. So hang in there, everybody. Be patient. Continue to do it. And if you're attempting at the highest level, it will get better. I promise you that. Everybody, some great stuff today. Self-confidence is super important. Don't get down on yourself. Love yourself, everybody. Watch out for comparing yourself to other people, and watch out for that envy creeping in there, because that could be toxic. Surround yourself with good people. Take care of yourself. You know, because at the end of the day, what's waiting for us is ultimately better performance, healthier relationships, you know, trying new things, creating resilience, and just overall leveling up our game, everybody, right? So listen, have a great rest of your day today, a great rest of your week, and next week we will see each other same time, same place. I appreciate you, everybody. See you next time.